Hi, welcome to FootyWit Podcast, the Transparent News episode. I'm not here alone. My name is Ahis Anthony, and I'm here with Okwe Adibari to discuss the latest transfer news in the EPL and other leagues across Europe. So I'd like Okwe to introduce himself.
Yeah, hi everyone. Good evening. My name is Okwede Barry. I think I'm making this is a hat trick now on
Yeah.
Pussy Week, yeah, Pussy Week's live podcast. So I'm happy to be here, and happy to give you insights into transfers going on right now.
Okay, so we'll just go straight. Where do we start from? Do we start with the big boys, Liverpool? We had Liverpool trying to
Definitely.
Liverpool is trying to bolster their defense. They're going in for a particular defender. Maybe Okpa can just roll us in with that.
Yeah, so definitely, Liverpool right now having been 2019 Premier League champions, 2019-20 Premier League champions, also 2018, 2019 UEFA Champions League winners. Right now is the time for them to bolster their squad. They do have aging players in the squad. Right now, the average age of the Liverpool squad is about 27. And when you
Yeah,
take a look at most of their important players, they're in the back end of their 20s. Right now, the front three of Firmino, Salah, and Mane, they are all 28. Van Dijk is 29, and then you have a Jordan Henderson as well, who is 28. Fabinho is going to be 29 in a couple of days as well. So look, there's certain positions where they need to bolster up. Number one, they've already sold and Lovren, so there is a spot left in that defense which they do need to bolster up in. Yeah, they've got Joe Matip, they've got Joe Gomez as well. But one thing is prominent between both players, which is injuries. Both players are injury prone. But
yeah, the
apart
injury.
from that centre back position, actually the first bone of contention for Jurgen Klopp is that midfield position, and that's with Thiago Alcantara. He's been
Yeah,
one player who has been rumored to join Liverpool for a couple of months now, and it looks feasible. Why is that? Number one, Thiago has 1 year left on his contract. His current contract ends in June 2021, and he has told the Bayern Munich hierarchy and Karl-Heinz Rummenigge, who is the CEO of Bayern Munich, he has told him that he does not want to renew his contract and he would like to leave. The same thing he did tell to the club director, Hasan Salihamidzic. So yeah, he's looking for a new club and Bayern are willing to let him go. His current market value is about 18 million pounds. So now, when Liverpool, I'm sure they'll be considering this. He's 29 years old. Do they really want to spend 18 million pounds on a
yeah,
29-year-old and give him a 5-year deal? Is he worth the gamble? But then when you think
mhm,
about it, he's a midfield maestro. He can play any position in the midfield. He can also play as a false nine, although they do have Takumi Minamino as a replacement or as a backup to Firmino. But look, Thiago brings more expertise into the team, and also, he gives them more options. We've seen how Jordan Henderson has been injury prone as well for a lengthy period of the season. About 3 months, he was out, and then we saw the impact he did have on the team. It was during
yeah,
that period that they did suffer their first defeat against Watford. So, being the captain, look, he has a a very strong influence on the team, not just on the pitch but off the pitch as well. But majorly for on the pitch, look, they need those options, and Thiago is a very good option for them. Now to the centre back position, there are a
yeah.
couple of
Just before you move to the centre back position, looking at the midfield, you mentioned Thiago Alcantara because I think that's where Liverpool they lack creativity in that
correct.
midfield because most of the midfielders that they have, they're a bit kind of like the central midfielder, not the kind of guys that are creative. So I think that would be a good deal for Liverpool if they pull that deal out.
Definitely, yeah. They need a bit of that creativity. Since Coutinho left, really they
Mhm.
really have no creativity in that midfield. Adam Lallana, we've seen that over the years he has aged into like a parallel-like position, playing as an anchor in the midfield, but like a playmaking anchor, not necessarily the defensive midfield type. And then we've seen that he has moved on to Brighton. So I mean that creates room for Thiago as well. Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain can play in the midfield as well, but he's more of the typical smash and run kind of player. Doesn't really hold on to the ball so much. He wants to run with the ball. He wants to give off those passes and he wants to run off the defender. So he prefers to play on the wing. But then we do know that he can be a good box-to-box midfielder. So definitely Liverpool getting Thiago Alcantara is a very good deal for them. But I believe they will need to bargain. They might not need to pay about 80 million. If they can bargain properly, I think about 50 million would be good for Thiago, keeping in mind that, look, he does have 1 year left on his contract. And definitely, Bayern would not want to let him go on a free transfer. He's a very, very valuable player, and they would love to get the most out of that deal. So, moving over to the centre back position,
Mm-hmm.
two big names currently being touted. Number one is Konstantinos Manolas for Napoli. And then, you know what, when this name first came up, I was quite surprised. He just made a big money transfer to Napoli last season. And he has a great partnership so far with Salidu Koulibaly, and they've been doing well so far, especially under Gennaro Gattuso. The team has been playing very well. So why would Manolas want to leave Napoli at this point in time
I
and
wanted
move
to
over
ask
to
that.
the Premier League?
Yeah, I wanted
Yeah,
to ask that.
exactly. And then obviously with the incoming of the Victor Osimhen, you expect things to be better going forward for
Yeah.
them. I believe the team will be more solid going forward. And look, they've got a crop of good young players, and I believe Gattuso has a plan for the future. So why his name is being brought up in the mix, I really don't know. However, this is where I would not take this rumor so serious. Look, he has a buyout clause of 120 million pounds, and
Mm.
is he really worth 120 million pounds? I don't think so. No disrespect to him, he's a very good defender. 5'9", but look, he's brilliant in the air, good with the ball at his feet. But then, is he really worth 120 million pounds? I don't think so. So if he's going to leave Liverpool at all, they need to be rather if he's going to leave Napoli at all, there needs to be
Mm-hmm.
some sort of negotiation, either to maybe just ignore that buyout clause and probably just negotiate based on the value of his wages at the end of the years of his current contract. And then another very, very surprising name is actually Rafael Varane, who was a scapegoat about 2 nights ago. Or yeah, about 2 nights ago.
Yes,
And then
yes, he was.
yeah, and then when you think about it, why would Varane want to leave? I don't think Zidane wants him to go. Being
Mm-hmm.
someone from this country, look, Zidane has always been someone who has put an arm around Varane. And at the age of 25, he has probably won every trophy you could think of as a footballer. He's accomplished as far as I'm concerned. If Rafael
Mm.
Varane retires today, look, he's good. He's done for life. He has done everything I can probably think of in the game of football, winning the biggest trophies at club level and at international level. So him coming to Liverpool seems like it looks like a far off deal. I don't really see that happening. So I'm hoping to see more realistic options in terms of that centre back position for Liverpool in the coming days.
So just straight up, we just look at Chelsea. Chelsea, they're looking at getting Liverpool's White, Ben White, the
Yeah.
Brighton guy, and I heard they're trying to hijack the deal from Liverpool, and they want to get rid of Antonio Rudiger. Rudiger comes with a lot of experience. Rudiger comes with a lot of game time in terms of him being a player, played for Germany, is a starter for Germany, and also we've seen the shit he has put into Chelsea in the past few seasons. How come Lampard, this is a strange one, trying to get rid of Anthony Rudiger?
Yeah. Number one, I don't even see Frank Lampard wanting to put this type of player out there for sale. But then when you then think of let's come to the business aspect really for Chelsea. They have spent about a combined fee of 90 million pounds on Hakim Ziyech and Timo Werner.
Yeah.
All right. Now they need
Yep.
to bolster up um, in the defensive aspect, keeping in mind that they are still chasing a Kai Havertz, who Bayer Leverkusen are strictly saying, look, nothing less than 90 million pounds, which they have already
Yeah.
paid on two players. So just imagine them having to reel out that same amount of money for just one player. I know that Chelsea are adamant about chasing Havertz. They need that type of dynamic playmaker. And look, there is a name that the Germans give to Kai Havertz. He's the type of player who can play all. Basically, he can play every position in the midfield. So there's a reason why he's that valuable, not just for Bayer Leverkusen, but also for German football. He's that type of player that can play in the Michael Ballack position of a box-to-box midfielder. And can also play behind the striker, can play also in the deep line because that's where he started from in that kind of Schweinsteiger role, as you can see,
Yeah.
and then he can play on the wings as well. So, I mean, right now, Chelsea have one of the most dangerous forward lines in Europe, even without Kai Havertz. Bringing him in, look, they're going to be simply deadly. So now we then move over to the defense.
To the defense. Yeah.
One major area is that left back position. About 2 months ago, it was rumored that Ben Chilwell has been targeted by Chelsea, and they are trying to get him in. But look, Leicester are not budging. They do not want to sell one of their best players, and
Mm-hmm.
there've been a couple of options that have come through for Chelsea. We've heard names like Nicolas Tagliafico, Alex Telles of FC Porto, and most recently Gosen of Atlanta. He's made about 8 assists and got 6 goals this season so far in about 34, yeah, in about 35 appearances. And we know the way Atlanta love to score goals. I mean, they scored over 95 goals in the Serie League this season, and then he
Mm.
has contributed to a good number of those goals in the Serie. And we've seen their exploits so far in the Champions League. We know that they will be playing PSG in their own quarterfinal fixture. So look, he's a great player nonetheless. And compared to Emerson, compared to Marcos Alonso, who currently are Chelsea's first choice left backs. Marcos Alonso going forward is a very good player. He seems to be someone who thrives more in the left wing back position, but as a left
Yeah.
back, simply terrible, very very terrible, very
Yeah.
poor with man on man marking. He
Mm.
finds it easy to let his opponent go, and then he tries to rely more on tackles, which sometimes you know what he's faced with very fast opposition, so he ends up making a lot of mistakes, fouls leading up to
Mm.
free kicks, to goals, really to penalties. And right now, he's in that Chelsea squad, he has the highest number of yellow cards currently. He has about 12 yellow cards all through the season. I mean, he got suspended for the Bayern Munich match. That's why he was not able to play. So that lets
Yeah.
you know how mistake prone he is. So apart from Marco Alonso, we know that defensive aspect is his issue. Now, Emerson seems to be more of the Frank Lampard type of left back, someone who knows how to push up the field and yeah, with the creativity also in that final third, he has it and he
Mm-hmm.
can also score goals. The problem with him is just the ability to be fit all through the season. He has missed a huge chunk of the season through injury, and that seems to hinder him a couple of times. That's why he hasn't really hit the mark since he joined Chelsea. So right now they're looking for a solid option, keeping in mind
Yeah,
the
solid.
fact
That
yeah,
someone
they
like
can't rely on players.
More of the Tierney type of player. Someone like more
Yeah,
of the Tierney.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's what Gosens brings to a team. He's solid
Mm.
defensively and also good attacking wise. He doesn't. I wouldn't say he's exciting going forward, but then he goes forward with a purpose, more like that. Crosses, link up play. Look, he's very good, and he can play effectively as a left back and as a left wing back compared to both Emerson and Marcos Alonso. So that's a very good option for Chelsea. However, he's very affordable. So now the question is, how do they get him in? They need to free up space in that left
Yeah.
back position. They got Marcos Alonso, they've got Emerson, and then they still have Kennedy, who's on loan. And
Mm.
even in that right back position, right wing back as well, they still got Victor Moses on their books as well. So look,
On the books,
Chelsea,
yeah, true.
yeah, they need to sell a couple of players to, get money to fund the next transfers. So talking about Antonio Rudiger, among all the Chelsea centre backs this season, he has to be the most consistent figure. So I'm actually not going to buy into the fact that he could be sold.
Yeah.
You take a look at his age, it's quite right for me as far as I'm concerned. He's someone
Yeah.
who brings a lot of experience and maturity. And I love the fact that he's vocal on the pitch because since John Terry left, they've really not had that vocal figure at the back, someone who can lead the line from the back. The keepers who they've got are not so vocal either. John Terry was someone who could actually control the way the team was set up from the back. That was something I loved the most about that Chelsea side when they had that spine in check. Terry, Lampard, Drogba. They had leaders of the pitch in different positions who were able to lead the line
Mm-hmm.
at any point in time. So over the last couple of seasons, Chelsea have lacked character. And Rudiger has stepped up to the occasion. We've seen a number of times this season where he's absolutely shouting on his teammates, telling them to get in line. During set pieces, he's making sure that everyone is in their proper position. So for me, that is a future captain, and that's someone who could be one of the captains for next season. So I don't see him leaving. So apart from Rudiger, we then take a look at the other centre backs this season and potential exits. We're talking about Aspilicueta, Christensen, Fikayo Tomori, and obviously Kozuma. I mean, Kozuma, look, it's been a bittersweet season for him. Let's be
Mm-hmm.
honest. He has put in a couple of good performances compared to last season at Everton. I mean, look, he has been solid. A lot of match winning performances actually, but towards the end of the season we've seen a decline. and that is because look, this is a young player who has not really played with experienced players so far. I mean, when Chelsea did get him, they signed him from Saint-Etienne. He was about 18 years old, and then under Jose Mourinho, he got a couple of games under Mourinho, but then immediately was sent out to loan for about 2 consecutive seasons. And then taking a look at his defensive partners over the years, he has not really had that senior figure beside him. So I believe at this point,
Yeah, I think this season was just a breakout season for him.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Look, it was a breakout season for him. And then Christensen has suffered with injuries, which has led to lack of consistency for him. Same thing with Fikayo Tomori. I believe number one with Fikayo Tomori, exhaustion. That was the first thing. He was playing so many games at the beginning of the season, felt
Mm-hmm.
exhausted, not able to continue in that same vein, in that same pace. And then injury did catch up with him, and then it's been difficult for him to get back into the team. Now,
Yep.
what really, what really what will really determine the type of centre back that Chelsea would want to go for in this transfer window is the way Frank Lampard wants to set up his team going forward. A lot of times this season, we saw them revert to a three at the back, and it has been their most comfortable and most compact setup, which has brought out the best of the players. And we saw the way Tomori was able to fit in into that back three, playing as that left-sided centre back and playing comfortably because look, he's very good with the ball at his feet. And so right now they need someone who can actually be versatile in that defense. So I've heard rumors about probably Jerome Boateng, who has about 1 year left on his contract, could be coming to Chelsea, and also David Alaba. David Alaba was the first option, and David Alaba brings a whirlwind of options for Chelsea. Number one, he could play as a central midfielder, he could play as a defensive midfielder, he could play as a left back, left wing back, and also as his left-sided centre back, which is something, which is a position and then a specification I think Frank Lampard needs in his style of football. He loves to play football from the back. He loves to play free-flowing football. And if you want that type of football, you need players who are in comfortable positions all the time. If you don't have a Fikayo Tomori or a Rudiger in that left side of the centre back pairing, Chelsea always have issues. You can't have an Aspilicueta there. You can't have a Zuma there. It's always difficult for Zuma in that position, and that's where you see Zuma being caught on unawares a lot of times. So look, getting David Alaba would be a good acquisition for them. Also, David Alaba has 1 year left on his contract. He's valued at about 50 million pounds. And but then one thing is that with a player of that value, Bayern will definitely try to bargain and try to get him at a higher price. But now look, it all depends on Chelsea's what will I call her now? The mean streak agent. I'll call her a mean streak agent because look, she has been very
Yeah.
with negotiations so far and trying to get players in for Chelsea. And I have heard rumors that she's doing her best in a very shrewd manner to get Kai Havertz. Some folks in Germany don't like the way she's going about the business in terms of talking to agents who will be able to help her get Kai Havertz in for Chelsea. So look, when it comes to getting the players that you do want, once Chelsea have narrowed um, their options, look, they
Mm.
can definitely get going. They can get the players that they do want. So two possible options at that centre back position: David Alaba, Jerome Boateng. I believe Alaba would be more likely in that left back positions. I believe Gosens, the Atlanta left back, would be the most likely option. Considering Alex Telles and Tadia Fico, the fees are simply outrageous for players of that caliber. But then Gosens seems more realistic and would be a good fit into Frank Lampard's squad.
So Liverpool's Ben White is just a rumor. It's something that might
Yeah,
not really
yeah,
materialize.
yeah. No, apart from Ben White, I think Jamal Lewis actually. Jamal Lewis, the
Mm-hmm.
left back as well. That's another option that's come up for them. Jurgen Klopp has not said anything about Liverpool have yet to come out and put a statement to that. But I do
Mm.
begin to wonder if that really is a position that they need to strengthen in. They've already got Andy Roberts there, who's been playing brilliantly so far, and then they've got young players coming through the ranks in names of Neco Williams and also Garucci, um, the young Englishman with the dreads on, with number 76, if I'm not mistaken. And then he has put in good performances for them in Carabao Cup. So I think going
Mm-hmm.
for Liverpool would actually be good in that position, unless they want another first team player to push or rather to compete with Andy Roberts. At that right back position, they've got a number of options in James Milner, Alexander Arnold, Joe Gomez as well. And obviously, like as mentioned before, Neco Williams, who has shown that he's ready to play first team football for Liverpool. So, yeah, for now, just rumors, but let's see how that goes over a couple of days.
Just to stick on this Liverpool transfer, because I know it's imperative for Liverpool to do well in this summer transfer window, because they need to refresh that team. We know how they've come 2 seasons ago, last season, with the style of play. Jurgen Klopp just need to do a refresh. So that what happened to Tottenham 2, 3 seasons ago will not
Exactly.
happen to them. So there has to be a refresh in terms of
Exactly.
bringing new set of players just to bolster that squad so that they
Yeah.
can go for what they need to do by retaining the EPL title. So we'll move to the other side of London. Tottenham, they've not been busy this summer. The only news we
Yeah.
heard about them was the Southampton midfielder, Pierre Olber.
Yeah, Pierre
Yeah,
Højbjerg. And
yeah,
I'm actually wondering why Mourinho is bringing another midfielder. Look, they've got great players in that midfield: Musa Sissoko, Harry Winks. I mean, Itonga Undombele, who for me had a very, very poor season.
yeah. I
And
think I think there's an issue with
yeah,
Mourinho and
exactly. There seems to be
Ndombele.
an issue with Mourinho and Ndombele.
Ndombele.
During the lockdown or post lockdown, as the lockdown was easing up in England, he
Yeah.
decided to start training with him personally and
Mm-hmm.
trying to get him up to speed in terms of the tactics and in terms of the role that he wants him to play. And then it just seemed like when football did restart, Ndombele was not able to live up to the expectations that Mourinho did want. And but I don't think Mourinho is handling the situation very well. Look, he's a great manager, but sometimes he is faulted when it comes to man management. We've seen the way he has had issues with players over the years: Chelsea, Real Madrid, Inter Milan. There's always
Yeah.
one scuffle or the other, one player or the other going. And Mourinho, look,
Mm-hmm.
we all know how stubborn he is and how
Mm-hmm.
he plays hardball with his players. And according to him, he shows tough love, but really, these players
Yeah.
have to win. And taking a look at Etonga Ndombele, who they got for about £40 million, he's 23 years old. Look, he's a great box-to-box midfielder. He can't play
Mm-hmm.
in that Makaleli position for you if that's what you want from him. But then he's better going forward. He's that type of number 8 for you, that roaming midfielder who'll be able to look, he'll be great for the transition from defense to attack. Will be able to um, create chances for you, score goals as well. He's quite good with set
Mm-hmm.
pieces. So why
Yeah.
not bring out the best in this player? Why not just make that spot size a compact squad, basically playing in the 4-3-3 position and having compact midfielders? Why not have Harry Winks as the holding midfielder and then you have Musa Sissoko and Ndombele in that midfield? You don't have Christian Eriksen anymore. You don't really have that playmaking type of
Mm.
player or that midfielder anymore. Lo Celso is there. Gelson Fernandez is there as well, but then they seem to be taking more time to adjust to the Premier League. And Eric Lamela also can play in that number 10 role. You still got Dele
Okay.
Alli as well. So look, they've got a
Okay.
number of options. So I mean, Højbjerg joining them just makes it seem like it's just going to be a number to them.
Yeah. So just to barge into you, Chibuzo joins us on the Transfer News podcast episode. Hi, Chibuzo. How you doing?
Hi, can you hear me?
We can barely see your face. We can barely see your face. Maybe you need to centralize you so we can see you well. Okay, now we see you. So yeah, we're about to switch to Manchester. Yeah, we're about to switch to Manchester United. We're about to switch to Manchester United still. There's a deadline. There's a perceived deadline, August 10th for Sancho, a deal for Sancho. So you that you're the Manchester United fan, fill us in with that. Oh,
Ah. Well, I've been hearing Okwe talk about Liverpool and all that.
yeah.
Liverpool and Chelsea. It looks like other teams are busy, trying to get players. But for Man U, we're just hearing um, Sancho, 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 and I was saying, if Sancho is and you want 350,000 £100,000 per week, 120 million. I just expect that anytime he says goal, the ball will enter the net.
Yeah.
For me, I think is I don't know how to put it. It's too much of the money. I think the money is quite um
I think the money's on the high
on
side.
the high side.
I think the money's on the high
On
side.
the high side for a player of that age. Yes, I know the guy is good. I know the guy. The cutting ceremony or the cutting drama that's been happening between Dortmund, sort of these guys they need this player. It's a do or die affair for them. You must bring your 120 million before Monday and all that.
Mm,
We've seen players come to Man U and just had high expectations. Di Maria, we had the Lukaku, we even had the
mhm,
Pogba who is trying to win back
mhm,
his popularity or his his popularity. I think it's quite a huge sum, most especially the salary for it. How years for that amount? I think is too much. Of as that, like really rumors. It seems like every other thing that Man is trying to do has been eclipsed by Sun. I don't know. Probably Ole wants to play. He wants to put Greenwood and Marshall. Bringing Greenwood back to play a proper set forward, and then competition between him and Marshall, and then playing Sancho on the right. That is really what he wants to do, and he's tried James, he's tried Greenwood. He's but another thought comes to my mind. You know, what happened with Haaland? How much was Haaland, supposed to go for? And we hear that there was an extra 5 million. That I don't know. I think Sancho for 120 million, and then probably you have got not center forwards that we have and all that. So for me, I think 120 million is on the high side.
okay.
And I don't know how Sancho came
Okay.
to Man U. Yes, he's been playing at the world stage. He has been playing in Germany, but Manchester United comes with a different how do I put it? Manchester United is a very big club. It's a proper big club on the same level with Barcelona and Real Madrid. So I don't know how this Sancho guy, with all the money that's going to be splashed on him, and then he comes to me. I don't know how he's going to be able to handle that pressure, handle that expectation. It's something that looks impossible to me. I don't know what Kwe has to say about that.
Yeah,
Okwe
yeah.
definitely has a lot to say.
Look, if we think about it right now, over the years, about last 10 years, look, the transfer window has been crazy. From the start of that new Galactico era, when Perez came back and splashed the cash on Cristiano Ronaldo, Kaká, Benzema, and co. Look, things have just been going crazy. So we don't really get the proper value of players these days. A lot of times, agents are really the ones controlling what goes on behind the scenes. That's why we have super agents right now in the names of Mino Raiola, Kai, Jurakian, and so on and so forth. So sometimes, look, a lot of things are going on behind the scenes. Third-party ownerships, and then even Manchester City right now is involved in this deal. We know he did go to Dortmund for about £7 million. Right now, they are going to sell him for an amazing value, about £120 million, which Dortmund have said they are not going anything less. So Manchester United do not have a choice but to do this. However, what I do know is that because of the coronavirus pandemic and knowing the fact that Manchester United is a club which has been put into the stock exchange market, what is going on right now is that they've told Dortmund that, look, we can't pay this fee at once. It will be broken down over two transfer windows. The initial fee of £68 million would be paid, and then next season it should be about 18 million. Then the next for the 2022 summer should be about 12 million pounds to complete the deal. Is he worth it when you think about it? Look, his numbers are outstanding. If you think about it, someone who's already an England international, double figures in both goals and assists. And then when you see him coming into this Manchester United squad, he will be a great fit. This Manchester United squad is very young and is very talented. We take a look at that front three of Greenwood, Martial, and Rashford. Over 20 plus goals between them individually and assists as well. About 60 plus goals between the three of them. Look, they're going to be fantastic going forward in the coming years. Sancho coming in would be on that left flank, and I believe Rashford or Martial would have to move over to the wings, and Greenwood will be dropped to the bench. But then we know one thing that has hindered Manchester United so far this season, and that has been depth in quality. A lot of times when Pogba, Bruno, Greenwood, Rashford, and Marcel, when they're coming off the field, when you take a look at the caliber of players coming onto the pitch, with all due respect, they are not at the same caliber and quality. And look, over the years, I've known Manchester United to always depth and quality. That's what Manchester United is all about. That's why they are such a great team with so much prestige. So they need to keep bringing in more quality players to continue to bolster the squad. Is Sancho worth it? Look, only time will tell.
Okay, so we just.
I think also, you know,
Oh yeah, you can go on, Chibzo. You can go on,
to add to that, you know, hope is there's no some transfer stress, post traumatic stress. I'm trying to say post traumatic stress disorder, like the PTSD in buying a big player, you know, and then nothing happens again, you know, in the transfer window. Man U needs a left centre back. Man U needs a left-footed centre back. Also, Man U needs, there's this thing that happens when what's his name? The midfield, something like a triangle. That's you see Bruno Fernandes, you see Pogba, you see what's his name? Vidic. You know, yes, yeah. So, and I'm thinking there's this pressure that, you know, what's his name? Maguire likes to take the ball up to the second third of the pitch. He takes the ball to the second third of the pitch, and then Pogba tries to want to play deep playing role from behind, and then he loses the ball. It happened like in the Man U's last two games. Loses the ball and issues. You understand? So for me, I think, you know, Man U needs a left-footed centre back to play where Maguire is playing, and then Maguire goes to the right, rather than playing two right-footed centre backs, Maguire and Lindelof. So I'm just hoping that, you know, yes, we have the 60-goal machine, like you said, goal-scoring machine up front, but then they need a spine. They need a spine, and many times, you know, you want to play what's his name? You want to play Bruno Fernandes, and you want to play Pogba in the same lineup, but then there's this fear, you know, that Pogba is playing deep and he's losing the ball. So P. McTominay steps in for Matic. You know, I don't know, but that connection between the midfield and the defense, they need something there, because you cannot just be a goal scoring machine. You know, you just also have to defend goals. You have to reduce the number of goals that is being scored against you. So that's just the point I wanted to add. You know, let's not just go and buy a Sancho and then everything ends.
Yeah, I think that's where all the coaches are going into that, tilting that line of trying to get a central defender that can play out from the back, a left-footed central defender. We see Arteta doing that. We see what's his name, Manchester City coach Guardiola trying to set up that as well. So I think that's where everybody's tilting towards. So we didn't want the podcast to go beyond 30 minutes, but we're like 34 minutes gone. So we just have to talk about Arsenal to round up this transfer news episode, the maiden edition. So we know Arsenal, Coutinho, Willian, Lacazette, Aubameyang. That's the guys that are really, really taking up the news right now. So, Okwe, in a few minutes, can you
Yeah.
just fill us
Okay.
in?
So briefly, in terms of incomings, let me start from there. The biggest name obviously is Willian. Today, he put out an official message to Chelsea fans, letting them know that he is leaving. Arsenal have offered him a 3-year contract, which he wanted and which Chelsea could not give to him, and he'll be earning about 120 million pounds per week. Yeah, rather 120,000 pounds in his weekly wages for Arsenal, which is good for him.
I wanted to
Playing
like,
to,
what's going on?
yeah, sorry about that. Playing to the age of 35.
Yeah.
Yeah, Harvard, no. So, I mean, the question really is, can he still deliver the way he used to deliver at Chelsea? Take a look at his numbers; they've been fantastic. And Arsenal, as another club, needs depth in quality, and definitely he'll be a great addition to the team. Apart from Willian coming into Arsenal, I heard the Coutinho deal is getting closer. Um,
Hmm.
there were rumors that he was not even going to be part of the game against Chelsea, that he will be flying to London with his agent, but that was not the case. He did play against Chelsea, but I heard it's just about paperwork left. And then this coming week, both Willian and Coutinho are expected to be announced. In terms of departures, look, Lacazette seems to be someone who might be on his way out. Arsenal might need to fund the deal for Thomas Partey, who is valued at 50 million pounds. Look, Arsenal have twice offered a player and 25 million pounds for Thomas Partey, but Atletico are saying no, no, no. Just meet this buyout clause, and we'll give him to you. So 50 million pounds, they need to fund that deal. Lacazette would be definitely might be used in that deal. Lacazette is currently valued about 45 million pounds. For someone his age, look, he will be a great addition to any team and provides a lot of quality for any team, basically. So Lacazette will be someone that would be offloaded. Mkhitaryan currently has a loan deal for next season with Roma.
There's a bit of connection from Okwe.
But Arsenal, we don't really know what he's going to do. Is he going to stay or is he going to leave? Someone who is on a weekly wage, about £250,000, and not playing football, he needs to be
350
sold.
actually.
Yeah, imagine 350. So look, he needs to be sold this transfer window. If not, Arsenal letting him go on a free transfer will be absolutely terrible for them. And Sead Kolasinac is someone who has been placed on the transfer market as well. They need to offload him um, desperately, honestly. Towards the end of last season, or this current season rather, we've seen that lacked confidence, struggling with injuries, and has found it difficult to actually just adapt to this Mikel Arteta team. In terms of incomings, a number of players actually, apart from Coutinho and Willian, who could be confirmed this week, um, Gabriel Magalhaes from Lille Metropole.
From Lyon.
From Lille Metropole, he seems to be coming closer to a deal to us now. The friendly match that Lille played yesterday, he was saying that he was not in the squad and his jersey number was given to a new player. Also, 3 days ago on his live, some Arsenal fans joined him on his Instagram live. He was told to touch his nose to confirm if he's coming to Arsenal. Apparently, he did. I saw the video. Very funny. So maybe that's just a subtle sign to let Arsenal fans know that he's coming to the Emirates. Also, he did post one last picture in a Lille Metropole jersey on his social media page about 2 days ago. So look, that deal is fast and coming. It's valued about 20 million pounds, which is comfortable for me. He's 22 years old, Brazil under 23 international, another left-footed centre back. We've got a left-footed centre back in Pablo Mari, who is 26 years old, a proven and tested player already. So that's someone who you know that's going to be first team player for us now. But then looking forward into the future, having someone like Gabriel coming into the team is great. And then the last person is the Portuguese sensation, Joelson. This is someone who has drawn comparison to a young Cristiano Ronaldo while he was at Sporting Lisbon as well. He's 17 years old. He has made 4 first-team appearances for Sporting Lisbon. He's decent on both feet, great pace, amazing pace of a player, knows how to deliver balls. One issue with him though is his finishing in the final third. But look, he's 17 years old, raw talents. Now Arsenal have gone in with 2 bids for him of 25 million pounds. Both have been rejected. He
Yeah.
does have a buyout clause of 40.8 million pounds, exactly 40.8 million pounds. And Sporting are adamant that look, they need to get this deal over the line. And it has been rumored that Raul Sanheli head of Arsenal's director of football, would actually be making a trip to Lisbon to meet with Joel Sain's representatives and Sporting Lisbon representatives as well to get this deal over the line. I believe this is a move for the future. I don't think he's someone who's going to come into the team immediately. He will be playing with the under 23 squad definitely. But look, going for the future, this is a great buy. Arsenal already has the likes of Bukayo Saka and Gabriel Martinelli, who will be great players for the future. So look, Geoffrey will be added, Joe Willock as well. Look, a number of great young players at Arsenal. Miguel Aziz, Folarin Balogun, Zach Medley. Look, Arsenal are good going forward in the future. But one thing I love about Mikel Arteta and what he wants to do right now with the squad is immediate impact. Immediate impact. We saw that with Pablo Mari and Cedric Suarez. He wants proven and tested players, if preferably proven and tested Premier League players. So that's what he's after. And then another man actually is Wilfred Zaha, who is valued about £30 million.
I doubt if that deal is going to pull through. I doubt.
Yeah, honestly I doubt it as well. It was either going to be Zaha or Nicolas Pepe. They went for Pepe £72 million. They would have paid about £80 million for Zaha last season, but that was not the case. Now his value has dropped to £30 million. Crystal Palace wants to sell. The player wants to go. Everton are considering him. Hopefully he does not become a flop at Everton like the way Yannick Bolasie was after going for a huge fee, And Spurs as well also interested in the player. Left to me, if he's not going to be able to come to Arsenal, I think he should remain at Crystal Palace. But he will be a great addition for Arsenal. Arsenal, I mean, if they sell Lacazette, having Zaha, Aubameyang and Pepe, that would be great. You have a Willian on the bench. You have a Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Martinelli who can come up on the bench as well. So look, great transfer options for Arsenal going forward. But then the two most likely deals, which should be completed this week, Willian and Coutinho. There's hope for Gabriel Manganez. It seems to be edging closer as well. Thomas Partey on the rocks. Joel Sain, it seems they are chasing him and they want to get over to the Emirates as well.
Yeah, just a passing shot on the Arsenal transfer news. You failed to mention Ainsley Maitland-Niles because we heard he will be shipped off Arsenal. He's about to be sold £30 million. He's being valued for £30 million because Arsenal, they're trying to bring in the money. So anybody who's ready to buy, so sad for the guy. Apparently we didn't want to come up.
He's a good young player, but I mean, he seems to have had a couple of issues. But then towards the end of the season, we've seen the way he developed into the squad and he gelled. He's someone that can play a number of positions, but him as an individual, I'm not really sure he knows where his best position is. Coming up to the ranks at Arsenal, he was playing in the midfield position. I remember him going for the 2015 Under-20 World Cup with England. He did play in the midfield position. He was very solid there. But then for Arsenal and Premier League football, look, it doesn't seem to be good enough in that midfield position. And then he has been moved over right back, left back, and the wing back positions. I believe he's very good at the wing back positions. I believe
seems to be an utility player.
Yeah, very innovative player, fast going forward. He's productive in the final third with the crosses and even sometimes the goals. So I believe he should try and compete for a place in that wing back position. And with the fact that he can play on either wing, look, he's going to be a utility player for Arsenal. Playing on either wing of the left back or right back and the mid position, look, that's brilliant. If you cannot stay at Arsenal, look, all the best to him in the future.
So just to round off this episode, so Chibzo, what's your take on Arsenal's dealings in the transfer news?
My take is Okwe has said it, Lacazzette. Bringing all these players is so sure that Lacazzette is not going to have to play next season. So I'm thinking probably he'll go back to Lyon or I don't know. But then
apparently Atletico Madrid wants him.
Yeah, Atletico Madrid, yeah, you're right. But like and Okwe also said something because when I was calling the players like this guy Arteta needs immediate impact. He doesn't need for the future. He needs both, but because his opponents are buying mad players. You understand? See what Liverpool is trying to do and all that. So for me, I still think that the FA Cup was more like a gift to Arteta. I just pray that Arsenal fans don't, or Arsenal fans or the Arsenal board do not.
Arsenal fans will come for you.
No, they didn't go overboard, because you want this guy to start from scratch, from ground up, to get your team, to play and compete. Since he came, we've seen Arsenal competing for a point, competing to close out games that they are having leads on, competing and even winning the FA Cup. You understand? So I just hope that there's the pressure, because if you watch that match, him going to that match, he was the underdog. He was the underdog. He was like, if Arsenal wins or if Arsenal doesn't win, you understand? That kind of a thing. I think it's something that, take them by surprise, make your mark, rather than, the opposite of where, you are mounting pressure.
But do you think it's doing well in the transfer? With the transfer news, do you think it's doing well?
Well, the thing is, sometimes for me, I think in the last how many years, the last 2, 3, or 4 years, I'm asking the question like, how many big buys, how many players who have been bought for big monies have really shown up? How many have really?
Well, I think that will be another discussion. That will be another discussion for another day. Yes.
So what that tells me is that he has the players he wants to get, and he's not going for the thing that happened between Manchester and two Manchester teams over Sanchez, and what is happening between Manchester teams over Jordan Sancho. He knows the player he wants. It doesn't matter whether the players are out very, 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 very obscenely popular. You understand? So, when Okwe was calling out to him, I was like, well, it sounds like, he's going for what he wants. He's going for something that will suit the system rather than trying to pursue, the top 4 clubs and, try to compete. Yes, and show money muscle and all that. Because left to Ehis believes that Pep is a failure and that he has spent £1 billion on buying it. So that's the point I'm
for the record.
Make.
Guardiola has spent £405 million on his defense and still doesn't have a stable defense. Well, we're going to discuss that another day. We will discuss. We'll dedicate an episode on that.
I get your point. For example, going to go get Rodri last year, going all out to get Rodri for last year, I just think that Arteta knows what he wants and is going for what he wants. It's not about splashing and making the news.
Great, nice. I think at this juncture we just have to come to an end. We just have to come to an end of this episode. This is our maiden edition of Transfer News on FootyWit podcast. We hope to improve more. We hope to do better, and we hope to have Okwe come around once in a while. Just to bring in his analysis and tactical analysis on football analysis. Yeah. Oh, what am I blabbing? We know Okwe is with Plus TV Africa, so he's the expert in that. Chibuzo, thank you for coming, even if you came late. We'll pardon you on that.
No, I came before the podcast started. Nobody showed up.
So
yeah, nice to be back. I've not been around for months.
Yeah,
I'm happy to be back.
So nice to have Chibuzo back as well. So we'll be doing this weekly before the EPL returns. We'll be looking at transfer news. So mostly the EPL team, the top 6, like we discussed today. This episode is just the maiden edition, and we hope to have more episodes to come before the EPL resume. And we hope to have Okwe back with us here on FootyWit podcast. It's a pleasure having you guys. Stay safe and have a nice week ahead.
You too. Thank you so much. Have a great week, everyone.